What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Rite Angler's How-To Series. We're gonna go and try our luck, with some mangrove snapper. And if we get the mangrove snapper, I'm gonna teach you guys how to catch and cook them with a very simple but awesome recipe using Rite Angler knives, sharpening stones. We're doing everything with Rite Angler today, so we're gonna start the day off with some pre-cut leaders rigged to some braid. And if you guys haven't already subscribed to the Rite Angler channel, my name is Aaron Benzrihem. I am the host of these episodes, and I have written for magazines like Florida Sportsman, On the Water, Saltwater Sportsman, and done contributions elsewhere, and I'm happy to be here to help you guys learn how to catch some fish. So let's get into the video. All right guys, so we're gonna start off by tying on this little Charlie's jig head to a 30-pound fluorocarbon pre-cut leader. Pre-cut leaders just make it a lot easier when you're out. So it just takes one less step away, especially if you're the dad rigging up for the family. So I'm a big fan, and so I'm gonna tie a loop knot. This is not a knot tying video, but there's a bunch of stuff. We've actually in previous videos discussed exactly how to tie this, so I'll link those below if you're curious. It's not a must. You could tie a clinch knot or modified clinch knot. So anyways, doing my basic modified loop knot. All right guys, so we're at our next spot, and I'm basically just going to get myself one of these smaller live bait on this Charlie's jig head. That way I know she's at the bottom. Hook her right in the back, nothing fancy. And we're just gonna fish the edge of these pilings to try to get some mangroves so that we can eat. Show you guys a recipe later. We got a lively one on. Oh yeah, getting picked up already. Just drop fishing for snapper, guys. This is a super cheap way to do it. You know, a pack of jig heads costs nothing. And if you can get shrimp, unfortunately all the tackle shops that are around us are out of shrimp. But if you can get shrimp, it's $3 a dozen. That's more than enough. You can cut them in two, then you have 24 pieces of bait. Oh, just had one. And yeah, I mean, a little bag of line, super cheap. Hooks, you got your jig heads, that's it. And then man, snapper at a restaurant, like yellowtail snapper costs now, I think I saw at a restaurant here, $28 for like 8 ounces. What? Mangrove tastes better. There you go. There we go. Nate, you are the snapper killer.
It's gotta be it. It's gotta be it.
Guys, Nate just caught a nice snapper. How big? 12 inches?
Yeah, just over 10.
All right, let's keep him. There we go. That's a good one. On the Rite Angler jig head, a beautiful mangrove snapper. Let's get her in the boat inside the gunnels. So guys, basically all I did technically there, wow, this thing just spit up pilchards. Oh my God, it spit up so many pilchards. Those are probably ours. So literally just put this jig head from Charlie's with a tiny little Mahara. Was that an eat?
Yeah.
Big one?
Yeah.
And just got wrecked, man, just perfect. So we're gonna do a quick measure. It's definitely over 10. Yeah, that's like 11 or 12. That's the perfect sandwich size, baby. Alrighty guys, a little update for you. We have now secured 3 snapper about 12, 13, 14, and 10 inches. And I don't think I need any more because it's just gonna be for us back home, my wife and I. The last one we caught, unfortunately the GoPro was dead, but it was the biggest of the day. It was also on the Charlie's jig head, and it was a very aggressive hit. We almost thought we had a little snook for a second. So now that we've done that, we're going to go home and we're gonna use Rite Angler knives, pardon me, and a sharpening stone to show you guys how you can fillet them. And then we're gonna show you guys a super simple old school recipe. Get her done. So I'll see you guys back at home. Alrighty guys, so we are back at the house and we are using our Rite Angler 2-piece knife set. And this is the cheaper knife set that we have on the website. This one is just $19.99. You get 2 different knife sizes. And this is really all you need unless you're doing a lot of serious filleting. We also have nicer fillet knives like the Damascus fillet knife. I actually have a Damascus fillet knife right here. This is for when I go offshore and I'm doing some nicer stuff. But again, really all you need is this 2-piece kit, which is what we're gonna show you here. This is such an easy way to catch, clean, and cook fish. So we have our 3 mangrove snapper. Now, I wanna preface this whole section by making sure that you guys know I am not an expert at filleting fish. I'm much more of a sport fisherman, which does a lot of catch and release, as opposed to somebody who's constantly bringing home fish and cleaning them. So it's important that I preface this, because if we're using martial arts terminology, I'm a white belt, okay? So we're gonna do our best here. I'll tell you what, these smaller knives with the smaller fish are a big deal, and they make it a lot easier. So I also have a sharpening stone that I use to sharpen this knife, and now we're just gonna start by cleaning this guy up. So you wanna get some of these scales off so that you can get your knife right in there, and then just make small little cuts, not too deep, just across the fish, nice and shallow. Once we score it there, I like to bring the blade up here and basically run it along the fins on the back of the snapper. The snapper can be a bit tough, especially these small ones, so keep your knife at a nice angle so you don't lose a lot of that meat. And just work your way down really slowly. And then, once you've scored it in this way, you want to try to cut just along the rib bones. If you go under them, you're going to get tons of bones. So the goal, as best you can, is to try to go over those. See, once I've scored it well, just keep scoring down. And there's our first little snapper fillet. And we're going to clean these up a lot more. Not a bad job for somebody who doesn't fillet often. Definitely left a little bit of meat, but I think I was able to avoid those pin bones with these little fish, which are such a disaster. I personally would rather have less meat and no pin bones than a ton of pin bones. So again, I just move a scale. Once I get inside, just make little cuts. Snapper have really hardy scales. And then score down here. Just nice and easy. And then once we get that, again, trying to go over that rib cage. That is the name of the game, especially if you have kids. The little bones in these guys are not fun to deal with. And there we go, another little snapper fillet. So not bad, definitely left a little bit of meat, but not the worst fillet I've ever done. We'll set him to the side. I'm saving the best one for last because that's got the most meat. So I'm hoping that by the time I get to that one, we're a little bit better off. I haven't filleted a mangrove snapper in quite some time. Man, these Rite Angler knives cut like butter. I think that's definitely the most important part to getting a good fillet, is having a good knife that you know is just gonna cut through. We definitely did better on that one. That one is good. I feel a little pin bone here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. Like I said, I'm gonna continue cleaning these guys after, but I think we did a good job. I can see that there's two little pin bones that I got somewhere in that guy. So I'm gonna have to pull those out. I can feel them up here towards the top. I can tell you that we're definitely getting better, but not perfect, but I didn't expect to be perfect. Here's our big girl. This was our 13 incher. Let your knife do the work. It's one thing that all my good buddies that fillet said, it's more about the knife than the guy filleting. Let the knife do the work. That was beautiful, guys. I don't think I got any pin bones in that one. Absolutely gorgeous fillet there. And there we have it, guys. Beautiful mangrove fillets. Look at that. Now, to skin them is always challenging. So, my good buddy, Land Shark, aka Victor, showed me a great trick that I'm going to show you guys. Basically, you make a little hole so that you can put your finger through it. Then you use that hole to hold it, because with these small fish, and then you just work your knife at a 45 and just pull the skin towards you. And then once you can get a good grip, it's a lot easier to get all that meat off. Boom. Now that was perfect. Shout out to Land Shark, aka Victor, for that tip, because that's a huge tip. You put that hole all the way at the bottom so you don't lose meat. But the truth of the matter is you lose a tiny bit of meat. But you know what? It's better to lose a little bit of meat at the bottom than it is skinning it poorly. Because if you skin a fish poorly, oh god, it's not good. And with these tiny little fillets, look at that, man. To be able to skin them that easily, that trick has changed my life. And that's it. All skinned perfectly. So I'm gonna get rid of the carcasses. I'm gonna rinse these off in some salt water. And then I'm going to clean them up a little bit more, which we're also gonna film for you guys. So we'll tune back in a second. Alrighty guys, so what we have here are some absolutely beautiful mangrove snapper fillets. They came out excellent, and I think that now we're going to just touch them up, get rid of any little pin bones that we may not have gotten, and then I'm gonna show you guys the recipe. Tonight, we're just gonna do a very simple panko crusted fried snapper, and it's gonna be a snapper sandwich. So we're gonna do some lettuce, some pickles, some red onion, and then I'm gonna personally use mayonnaise, but obviously you can use tartar sauce. That's gonna be the preferred choice, you know, but I personally just don't like tartar sauce. So you can do homemade tartar sauce, you can do aiolis. So these snapper fillets came out absolutely beautiful. Alrighty guys, so here is our final product for the fillets. Good yield for 3 little snapper. All pin bones removed, cleaned in iced salt water, which is a trick my grandmother taught me to keep the fillets cool. And now I am going to start the other prep, hop in the shower before I do any of that after a long day of fishing, and let's get these sandwiches out because I am starving. All right guys, so welcome to the Abenz kitchen. We have now filleted the fish, we've cleaned it, we've gotten all the pin bones out, and your boy has showered, so I'm feeling fresh, and now we're gonna go over our ingredients. So for today's sandwiches, we're gonna keep it simple. We have a red onion, we have a lemon, we have romaine lettuce, we have French hamburger buns. If you're in Florida and you go to Publix, these are the greatest buns on the planet for any sandwich. Turkey sandwiches, tuna sandwiches, hamburgers, and now our mangrove snapper sandwich. We have the original panko breaded crumbs, also from Publix. We've got some olive oil, but this is specifically for frying and baking. So it's a different type of olive oil than extra virgin olive oil. And then we've got our eggs, our fish, and our pan. And so the name of the game, to simplify what we're about to do, is we're gonna heat the oil up. While we heat the oil up, we're gonna just dice or we're actually just gonna cut our onion into circles. Some people like it diced, I just prefer just regular onion slices. We're gonna cut our lemon, and that's pretty much all we have to do. We preheated the oven at 375. We're gonna slice our buns, get those in the oven, and this is gonna be a quick fry. These are tiny little fillets, right? So we're probably gonna do 2 minutes per side. At the very best, 3 minutes per side, depending on how hot my oil is. So ideally, it shouldn't be any more than that. You want the fish to basically flake at the fork. And so this is just gonna be a super simple sandwich. We're gonna put salt, pepper, panko, and then throw it on the fryer, and that's gonna be it. So let's get to cutting. We're gonna be using our Rite Angler kitchen cutlery set, which by the way is absolutely incredible. So anytime I cut a big red onion, I like to just start by cutting the top off and then cutting the bottom. Now I can save that and use it for something later like eggs. And so then I just like to make a little sliver, and again, I'm not a chef, just right here. That way I can just peel the first layer off super easily. These store-bought onions sketch me out a little bit. Everybody's touching them, putting them down. So even though it's a little bit wasteful to get rid of, you know, what is technically an edible piece, I'd rather do that for myself and my wife who are gonna be indulging on this sandwich. So cutting all this nastiness away, setting it off to the side. And then we're just gonna keep it stupid simple, guys, you know? We're just gonna slice them. I like them relatively thinner. So, 1, 2, and then maybe a third just in case we're feeling crazy. And that's it. That's it for the onions. So we're gonna save this for tomorrow's breakfast, which that's not today's video. And one thing I didn't mention is I do have some pickles, which I'm also just gonna cut into small slivers and put on my sandwich, but my wife's not a fan. For the lemon, you know, you cut your lemon in half. And then to get that restaurant lemon, I used to be a bartender back in the college days. All you have to do is just cut at an angle, like a 45. Boom, boom, and boom. Now we've got our lemon slices. That's all we need for that. That's just gonna go on the snapper itself. There's not much to do with the romaine. I'm gonna peel it open and cut it into the perfect sandwich slices. But other than that, there's literally not much to do. This is already pre-rinsed, and so I'm literally just gonna take it, cut it right in two. I'm probably gonna have 2 sandwiches. My wife will probably have 1. So again, take it, cut it right in 2. Now we've got all our prep work done. We're gonna just put this away, and then we're gonna tune back in and show you guys how to prep the fish. All right, so we've got our buns all cut, and so we're just gonna place those off to the side for now. Again, I can't emphasize the French hamburger buns enough. Got all our prep work, and we got our fish over here. So we're gonna take our panko, pop this guy open, and we're gonna just lay a bunch here. And then, what I like to do, again, keeping it stupid simple, just gonna get some salt, put the salt in the panko, then I'm gonna get some pepper, put some pepper in there, a little bit on the heat side, I'm a spicy kind of guy, mix up the panko, and then this is just eggs, make sure they're mixed up real good. Now for the oil, we don't want to cover the fish in oil. We're not dropping it in like a deep fried piece of fried chicken. We want to fry each side. So since it's such a thin fillet, we only put a very little bit of oil. That's very important to note. I have the oil covered because regardless of how much you do with the salt water on the fish or the fresh water, whatever, it's just going to start popping and you just don't want that. So here's our first one. Need to get a little towel here. Let's bring these guys over here. Oh, okay. I wasn't gonna do all that. All right, so we're gonna grab our first piece of fish, just dry it off on our little napkin. Then we're gonna place her in here. And then we're gonna bring her in the panko. We're actually gonna leave her in there for now. Same thing, next one. Boom, boom, douse it, douse it, douse it so that that panko really adheres to your fillet. Don't be afraid to go thick on the panko. You can do 2 rounds, like you can take it, you can cover the panko again, and you can put it back down, baby. You want a nice thick fry? There's nothing wrong with that. Always make sure to try to get as much of that water off. This was some iced salt water, an old trick that my grandma taught me. Just put salt, sea salt, water, and then ice, and that's gonna keep your fish fresher than anything that I've seen. I know a lot of people hate putting fresh water on fish. I don't think it's the worst thing to do, but it's just my personal preference. Definitely need a little more panko on here. Again, go thick on the panko. It's good, it's delicious. Clearing that. Boom. That's our oven, letting me know that she is done preheating. She is ready for my toast. And our last little petite one. Again, I keep thinking I feel those pin bones and it's just the panko on my hand.
Is that the piece you're gonna give me?
Yeah, this is for Bruna's sandwich. She's on a diet, so she gets half an ounce of fish. All right, so we got all that squared away, and we're ready for the drop. So before we drop, I'm gonna place my napkins on my plate so that when I pull them off the oil, I have somewhere to place them. I'm gonna take my bread and put it in the oven, and we're gonna do the drop here in just a second. All right, guys, so we got our pickles all sliced up. These are half sour pickles. If you've never had half sour pickles, another highly recommended thing. So let's drop these in the oil. The way you drop fish in the oil is you just lightly touch them and then set them down. I know it's a stupid thing that most of us know, but I don't know, you'd be surprised. You don't just want to drop them in the oil, like literally from up high. That goes with any food. There she blows. Cover that up. And set a timer. Hey Google, set a timer for 2 minutes. All right, we got the snapper down. And now, let's get the bread in the oven. I personally think that the most important part of any sandwich is the bread. I don't know, that's just me. Comment below what you think. Is it the meat, the bread? Is it the condiments? For me, it's the bread. All right, so we're gonna take our smaller pieces off because you can tell that they're just absolutely gorgeous. Look at these little snapper nuggets. We'll give our bigger pieces just a little bit more time on there. All right, guys, so we've had the fish sitting here. So now we're just gonna put a healthy dose of lemon just to add that little sour flavor. I like a lot of lemon. Obviously, it's personal preference how much you put. My wife likes a lot of lemon, but we don't want to take too much away. We've got mayonnaise on our buns. Again, you can use tartar sauce. So our first sandwich is just gonna be one nice piece. We're gonna put some lettuce right there, a little bit of onion, and then a little bit of pickle. This right here is sandwich numero uno. So let's get our second sandwich done. So again, I like to start with the fish. Nice little small pieces. Babe, you want lettuce, correct? Mm-hmm. Do you want onion?
No.
No onion, just lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
Just lettuce. That's the simpleton sandwich. Sandwich numero 2, and sandwich numero 3, and don't judge me, is for me again. But we're gonna get the smaller pieces here. We're gonna do the same deal for me. So a little bit of lettuce. Boom, nice hearts of romaine. A little bit of pickle. And then some onion. Boom. Now let's show you guys our final product. There it is, guys. Mangrove snapper sandwiches. And I know what you're thinking. Does it taste good? So I'm gonna take a bite for you. I know, it's a hard job. But let's start with the big boy over here. Are we ready? That looks like a juicy bite. That is amazing. Guys, that's it for today's video. I'm gonna go finish my sandwiches. That is so good. One more look at that. Don't forget to check out riteangler.com for all your culinary needs. Knife sets, fillet knives, all your fishing needs. You can get everything that you saw in today's video there. Pre-cut fluorocarbon leaders, jig heads, small inline circle hook kits, pliers, the fillet knives, the knife sharpener, the knife set that I used, the culinary knife set, everything that I used, riteangler.com, baby. Quality stuff from an awesome local family. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode.